Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we are in a small forest near where I live, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to show you around my favorite car, this 1994 300 TDI Land Rover Discovery 1, or better known as Danny for obvious reasons. But yeah, you see this car in most of my videos. It is the car I used the most during the past 3 months alone. Since July, actually, this thing has done nearly 6,000 kilometers. It has been all around Greece, all around Cyprus, and I bloody love this thing to bits. I wouldn't change it for anything. It is by no means perfect, and as you will see, it doesn't have anything too extensive on it. It's mostly basic modifications that are larger than usual, but nothing custom, nothing too extraordinary, nothing too expensive. So let's get to the car. So I think we should start with the most obvious modifications, or the most asked for modifications, and these should be the tires. First of all, these are Cooper STT Pro tires. They are in a size that is 285/75 R16, so this is a 33 pretty much. It is a mud terrain. They are nearly 2 years old now. They have started to make noise and vibrations, but I don't really mind. I use this car for off-roading. I use it in the mud a lot, in the snow, so these tires are perfect for me, and I don't really mind the additional noise on road. This is a 30-year-old 300 TDI Land Rover, so no matter what type of tire you put on it, it's not going to be the most quiet thing on the road. So I find the tires perfect. Now, to space out the tires and to help clear the control arms, which as you can see is not fully doing right now, I will need to change the wheels, which I will do in a few weeks. I have some rusted steelies in the garage, which I got for 150 euros a few months ago. I will paint those and put them on the car. This will give me a bit more clearance on parts like the radius arm, and it will also make the car a bit wider and more stable off-road. But for now, I have these spacers. I will probably keep the spacers and just add the rims on top. So 285/75 on stock Land Rover rims with spacers for now. Now, behind the wheels, I have a suspension kit from HM 4x4. This is an Italian company. These are handmade, both the shocks and the coils. They are progressive coils. To be honest, I really like this suspension. It is on the stiff side, so the ride is a bit stiffer than normal, but with the increased ride height, it means that the disco has remained stable. These have been on for nearly 2 years now. They have seen a lot of off-road use and they are still fine. Right in front of them we have the braided brake part extended brake lines. I'm pretty sure that most discos and defenders with a lift kit have these. There's nothing really to say about them. They have been fine. They are tougher than the usual ones, but I haven't really noticed any difference on the brakes. Right underneath we have the breed part radius arms, which, to be honest, for the price have been performing great. They have provided the disco with more front end articulation for sure, which is great, and they are even on polyurethane bushings. So if I replace the bushings in here with stock ones, rubber bushings, I'm pretty sure I will get even more flex, because as you can see, the bushing is right in between the mount and the arm, which limits articulation. If I put a normal bushing in here, I will definitely get more travel. For now, the panhard bar is the stock one. I have an adjustable one, but it doesn't seem to fit inside the stock opening right here. I think that the panhard, I have the aftermarket one, the adjustable one, is for a newer Defender, which the bracket here I think was a bit wider, and that's why it doesn't fit on my car. Now the steering bars are these heavy duty ones. I can't remember if they are Bridgepart or Terra Firma, but regardless of what they are, they have taken a few hits until now and they are all straight. The only thing that is a problem is this mount right here is very weak, and as you can see, it has already bent. Actually, it got bent over from the first day I put this new Bridgepart shock on it, but it has been fine ever since, so I didn't really do anything about it. In the front here, I have a wide angle prop shaft, not because it needed it, but because my old uni joints were worn out, and the price difference between getting new uni joints and replacing just the uni joints and getting an all new wide angle drive shaft wasn't that big, so I thought I would get the wide angle drive shaft to get rid of some of the vibrations, but also to avoid having to disassemble the uni joints and replace them. It hasn't really done a difference to the car. I mean, if you have a lifted disco, I see no reason why you would want to replace the front drive shaft, but if you have issues with it, then go ahead. I mean, these are Land Rovers, all of them are different, so some of them may have issues when they are lifted, some of them may not, but both this one and my friend's Discovery, which is even more lifted than this one in the front, they don't seem to have any problems with the drive shafts. One thing I forgot to mention is the winch mount and the winch. This is a discrete winch mount from Island 4x4. There is a company in the UK that makes these and they ship it to Island, and then Island ships it to you. The winch on it is a Winch Max 13,000 pound Winch Max with a synthetic rope. This winch has been amazing. It has gotten me out of some pretty sticky situations, and it did have the power to do so relatively easily. Now, moving on to the rear, I have the HM 4x4 coils, but I have replaced the shocks with these TJM ones. These are plus 5-inch shocks for a Nissan Patrol, so they are very long, and to get them on the car I added this pin to eye adapter. Excuse my rusty rear diff. I broke a diff and changed the whole housing, and the housing I got was rusty, but thankfully the diff inside is actually in really good condition. But anyway, these are long shocks, so I have a lot of flex, and because of that I have these extreme relocation cones. So they have this hook at the end which catches the coil when it dislocates, and as you can see I have some rubbing issues on the inside here. I have some extended wheel arches on order that should come soon, and with the wheels, with the additional offset and the wheel arches, I should have no clearance issues anymore. On the underside of the rear, you would be surprised to find the stock rear arms. These will be changed as soon as I put a rear diff locker on the car, because when you put a rear locker these won't be strong enough, but for now they still flex like crazy and they still seem to hold up. And also the rear arms don't really make a difference on the handling manners of the car on road. That's mostly done by the front ones, so I haven't gotten around to changing them yet. Another thing I have in the front is this diff cover. I also have them for the back, but it's not on right now. If you know anything about Land Rovers, you know that these covers up front are very thin, and if you hit them they dent, and then you have diff problems. So these covers are very handy. Of course, Discoveries in the rear have the flex joint right there, or the donut. I'm not sure how you call them. I think both names are correct. I replaced that for a solid drive shaft like the 200 TDI Discoveries and like the Defenders. That wasn't a hard job, and the drive shaft again was actually pretty cheap. I also removed the muffler, which has made a huge difference on the power of the car, and I have actually coated the chassis to protect it. This is a car from Cyprus. It has 0 rust on it, which is great news because discos love to rust. I also forgot to mention that I have these spacers under the coils. So in the rear it is a 4.5-inch lift, but because these are coils for a Defender and the Discovery is slightly heavier, they have sagged a bit. So it is roughly 3.5 to 4 inches in the rear and 2.5 inches in the front. This is the second version of Danny. The first one was on 30-inch tires with the standard HM 4x4 kit, both front and rear. So it was 2.5 inches in the front and 2.5 inches in the rear. But I wanted this car to be a bit more extreme. It is a solid axle Land Rover with a lot of flex, so I thought I would go ahead and make it a bit more capable. Of course, this is by no means done. To complete this car and to make it fully capable, I will need to add reduction gears, lockers front and rear, and that's about it really. Paint the exterior because as you can see, my roof has seen better days for sure. But other than that, I will also add a variable turbo to get more power out of this thing, because with the larger tires it does tend to struggle a bit. But as of now, I've actually increased the turbo pressure from the wastegate, which is a very common modification. There is an adjustment screw on the 300 TDI. It's right inside there, and when you tweak with that, the wastegate opens up later, which leads to more boost. And I have also tweaked the fuel pump for more fuel, so this thing goes much better than it used to. But still, in 5th gear on the motorways, on long uphill sections, it does tend to struggle. So if I replace the turbo with a variable one and a new manifold, I think this will get rid of all my power issues. Other than that, as you can see, the interior is pretty much stock. I have these waterproof seat covers. I got them in this color because I always wanted a green with beige interior Discovery. But now that I have seen this color and I have seen its actual color, which is this right here, that was covered by this plastic and hasn't faded yet, I absolutely love this color. So I wouldn't change it for a green one now, but as a nod to the one I originally wanted, I thought I would get these beige waterproof covers. The interior is in pretty good condition, to be honest, much better than the exterior, but it is stock and I'm not really planning on changing anything in here. I love the interior of the Discovery. At some point I will add an infotainment system with a display and Bluetooth and whatnot to make this feel a bit more modern, but other than that I won't be doing anything else on the inside. So yeah, this is my tour of Danny, my favorite car ever. If you have any questions or if you want to share your love for these old things, leave a comment down below. If not, if you hate them and you would much rather drive a Japanese vehicle, then I am sorry for you. Nah, I'm just kidding. Japanese cars are amazing, but I would choose an old Land Rover any day of the week. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.